and welcome to GreenFleet Talks. My name is Kate Armitage and I'm your host for our discussion today. And I'm delighted to be joined by Tom Callow, Head of Insight and External Affairs at BP Pulse. Could you just give us a little introduction to BP Pulse, please?
BP Pulse is one of the UK's largest businesses in terms of electric vehicle infrastructure. We sort of provide charging options across the whole sort of suite of EV charging. So that includes home charging devices as well as charge points for the workplace, for depots, and we operate the UK's largest public charging network as well.
In your experience, should fleets be considering PHEVs or should they be planning to switch straight to full battery electric vehicles?
We've seen a lot of fleets actually, tell us that they've actually sort of pulled back from plug-in hybrid and they're going to full EV whenever they can. But I still think there's a place for plug-in hybrids as a transition technology, as long as the vehicle meets that sort of duty cycle of maybe quite frequent short range journeys. A plug-in hybrid could probably easily deliver those fuel savings that fleets are looking for today. Sometimes high mileage is confused with long distance, and actually a lot of high mileage vehicles sort of rack up that high mileage through lots of very short journeys or very frequent short journeys that are sort of all added together. A lot of what we hear from plug-in hybrid drivers is actually the one thing they want, having driven a plug-in hybrid for a while, is more electric range, which basically means I want a pure electric car. See, most of the electric cars on the market today, pure electric cars, have a range of, let's say, 200 miles or more. And that's pretty real world in our experience. You're the average UK motorist that does maybe 8,000 miles a year. If you've got a home charging point, the chances are you will be able to, you may not do this, but you'll be able to do the majority, possibly all of your charging at home. We know lots of drivers mix it up. We know lots of drivers today do, let's say, 80% of the charging at home and 20% of the public network.
Almost all fleets will understand a fuel card and the benefits that a fuel card gives in terms of an employee being able to refuel and bill back to the company. How does that work with EV charging?
Fleets tend to want, in our experience, one is they'd like centralised sort of billing and invoicing. So that's key, and that's something we actually heard years ago from fleets saying, look, we want to be able to get all of our public charging in one place with one single bill. We don't want to be flooded with lots of receipts from drivers every month having to reconcile those. So we brought out a subscription product in 2015 actually. So it's been in the market for 6 years now. That enables fleets to do that. Enables fleets to actually have all their public charging on our network consolidated into one place. If you actually can achieve a significant sort of market sort of access through a roaming agreement, why would you go and build more infrastructure?
No one's going to use in their lifetime 100,000 charge points. So, why do you need access to 100,000 charge points?
Exactly, yeah. I mean, there's fleets today that are quite capable of using, let's say, 30 or 40% of the fueling infrastructure as their sort of baseline. And we think that'll be true in public charging as well. It's very unlikely that any fleet would need access to every single public charge point in the UK in our view. I
think we're all fully familiar with the fuel savings benefits and the emissions reductions that you can get from electric vehicles. What other benefits are you starting to see coming through?
There's the financial savings. We know there are those savings, not just fuel. You've got reduced sort of national insurance contributions. There's taxation benefits on both sides. You have capital write-down allowances for purchases of vehicles and actually purchases of charging points as well. For employees, there's obviously huge savings. It's a great time to switch to electric. There's no point in waiting, in our view, for the years to come, because at the moment you've got a great scenario to play in.
You've built a really strong kind of case for electrification, and you could walk away and think, well, why isn't everyone driving around in electric vehicles today? Which they're not. What are you still hearing from your customers in terms of what the big concerns are, and what would you say to those customers?
So there's a perception, for example, there's not enough infrastructure. There's a perception that infrastructure is, not particularly fast, or it's not actually in the places you might need it. And increasingly that's not the case. So there's a big job to do in terms of education, and that's consumer education as much as it is fleet education, to actually show, where the charging infrastructure is. It's out there, it's available. It's probably in your town. You may not have seen it. I still see comments saying, you have to have accounts, you have to have loads of RFID cards or subscriptions. It's just simply not true. So we've already got a system, and this is in law. There's regulations around it that mean that every public charging point that you or I use has to be accessible to us, there and then at the point we want to use it, without having any pre-existing registration or account with that company. So we enable that through contactless payment terminals on our rapid and ultra fast chargers. So you simply tap a a payment device, payment card or other device on the unit to start the charge if you want to. You obviously can use a subscription if you want to as a choice. And on our slower charging points, we currently have a sort of what we call a guest checkout type solution where it's no more difficult than buying something from, I don't know, the Argos website or something.
The pace of electrification is definitely increasing, and it's great to see BP Pulse leading the way in the development of EV charging solutions and public charging infrastructure. And it's clear from what you said that there is a wide range of considerations and tools that businesses need to think about in making this transition to EVs easier.